on my channel for a while, you've noticed that I made this before. These are the slidey Matchbox little projects. The first one I made was this Valentine one. And this actually came with a little card. This opens up into a card. And I was trying to take the card out. See, because the little heart right here keeps it in closed. And then it opens up like that. And for those of you who are interested in this, you can look back in my history, and you'll find it in the one of the videos in the history. And then for Easter, I made this one. And so I thought, why not do one for Christmas? And that's how I came up with this one. And this fits 6 Hershey nuggets inside. And it's just like that. And it stands up right like this. Okay, well, stay tuned. We're moving on to the how to make it. All right, stay tuned. We're going to go ahead and begin with the Matchbox slider box itself. Now, I've done this in previous videos, and as I showed you previous examples that I've done with different projects, this is the template that I created myself and that I use. This is actually for the envelope, if you have the envelope cutting board. This envelope punch board, excuse me. And it's a small box, and it's 3 by 2 3/4 by 1, and it fits 6 Hershey nuggets in there. I'm going to be using a scoreboard today instead of the punch board, and the paper size is 7 1/4 by 6 3/4, and we're going to score it at 1 inch and 2 inches all the way around this. Okay, so now I've scored it at 1 and at 2, and again, as I stated, I rotated it all the way around. Now we're going to follow the template itself, and it says on here that you're going to cut these 3 squares out. So we're going to cut this one, this one, and this one, and we're going to do the same all the way around. And then also what you need to do is you're going to cut in right here on this line on both sides. So it's going to be right here and right here you're going to cut in. And I'll show you right now, just for those that need more clarification. I'm a visual person, so I learn a lot by visual versus just telling me. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut up right here, and I'm going to cut up right here up to the second score line. Then I'm going to turn it and just to cut that side off, because we're not going to need this one at all. And we're not going to need this one at all. And then we're going to trim it just slightly. I turn it over because I feel like I can see better if I turn it over. Okay. Let's take that little bit off right here. So far we got a match like that, and then we're going to do the same thing over here. We're going to go over to this side. We're going to cut it right here up to the second score line. We're just going to turn it right here, and we're going to cut this up to the first score line. I'm going to rotate it right back and cut it right here. Oops, I cut it just a slight bit short. There it goes. And then I'm going to cut this off. You do it the way that's best for you. This is how I do it. And then I'm going to trim that. I'm going to trim that. And you see right now it's matching, it's matching right here and right here. So you see I've done that on this side. And then you're going to go ahead and turn it around and do the same thing on this side. So once you cut the whole thing, it's going to look like this, and then obviously it'll look like this. So if I can put these two side by side, you'll see that they match. And then the instructions are below it, so keep that in mind. So what you're going to do right now is you're going to go ahead and use your bone folder, and you're going to go ahead and crease each one of these sides. So that's what I'll do right now. Also, I wanted to mention that this cardstock, I'm using 100-pound cardstock instead of the 85 or the 65-pound. The reason I'm using just a little bit stronger is because this is the sliding box, and I want to make sure it's durable for the chicken, I was going to say chicken nuggets, not quite, Hershey nuggets, chocolate Hershey nuggets that are going to go inside. As you can tell, I'm hungry. Also, another thing I wanted to mention, you could actually make this box without any glue. I've done that before. I prefer to use glue because I want it reinforced, but you can also do it without, and I'm going to show you right now how it works. So if you take these sides up like this, and you bring both sides up like this, and you bring this side down, you'll see that it sticks very good without using glue. Oops, I'm sorry, I'm not of the camera. Let me put that in there. Go ahead and push that other one in there. I want to make sure it's in there right, and this was in there right. And then you can bring these two sides down, and since this cardstock is thick enough, you actually don't need to use glue. I mean, you could get away without using glue. And then if you put a panel down here, it would even be more sturdier. But I'm putting glue in here because I just prefer to use glue. So I've made the box, and I went ahead and I glued it instead of leaving it without glue because it's just a little bit more sturdier. Now, since it is a slider box and it slides in, I have this pattern paper that's going to go over it. It's 9 inches by 3.5, and it's I will give you the score lines in just a moment, but it's going to go like this. But we're going to put a circle here so that they can see the candies, what they are inside as well. And let me give you the scoring lines. Also, this pattern paper is not cardstock. It is regular, like almost copy paper, so it's very thin. So you have to be careful with it when you're scoring. Just to give you a forewarning. So if I put it on here, where's my score line? Your scoreboard. And I scored it at 1 1/4, and then this is 2 7/8, and then it's at, well, it's almost right in a half. It's 5 5/8. I'm sorry, that's not true. It's 5.5, and then it's at 6 5/8. So that gives you an idea. And as you can see, it only cost 59 cents. This is what I purchased it at Hobby Lobby. So another tip I wanted to give you with this is that since this is like copy paper, very paper thin, it's not cardstock, I went ahead and I cut a slice of cardstock here for the middle because I'm going to put a hole in here so that they can see the candies through there. But I was afraid that if I put a hole in there, it's going to get even more thinner in terms of it's not going to hold very well. So I am going to glue just all around the outside on this, and then punch my frame in here, and I'll show you that in just a bit. I can go ahead and glue it right on camera. It's not going to matter. But I'm going to go to the outside of it and stay on the outside because remember, I'm going to use one of my frame die cuts and punch it in the middle. And I could use this easily on the scanning machine, but as I stated, since I'm videotaping, I'm doing it faster. When I'm doing multiples, I will use the scanning cut because it cuts out a whole lot all at once. Here, let me take it off the scoreboard. And it sure makes it a lot easier. I'm an advocate of the, I mean, I don't get paid for it, but I do like the scan and cut a whole lot more than I like the Cricut, and so therefore it's a lot thicker. Now I'm going to go to my framelits and then cut this out, and I'll be right back. So I'm back, and I did cut it out. So you can save this for another project, but I have two of them now because I remember I only glued on the outside of this. And then just to let you know which framelit I used, this is by Sizzix. I think Scrapbook also sells them too, so in case you wanted to purchase them, but I used this one right here. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and fit this around here. But before I do, I'm actually going to put some acetate on the back of this. So I have my piece of acetate, and I'm going to make sure it's not, and I'm going to put it in the back. Now, don't be concerned about the glue showing because you would have to completely remove the top and unglue it in order for you to see it. So, and besides, the kids, or whoever gets it, are not going to be concerned so much about the acetate showing on the other side. So I wouldn't worry about it. And I'm going to put that on there. I know I've got it smeared off to the side there, but not to worry, it will dry. Okay, let me clean my hands here on the towel. And then we have it so it looks like that. And now we're going to put it right here on here. And I've already given you the score line, so we already did that. Now we're going to glue it onto here. Now, I've made it just a slightly bit loose. The reason for that is you want to be able to slide it inside and out very easily. If it gets stuck, then you're going to end up tearing the top portion of this, which is the slider, not the slider, but this top part. I forget what you call this. Okay? And that's how it's going to look. I'm going to put some decorations on there, but we're going to bring back we're going to bring in the, we're going to move to, actually not bring in, we're going to bring in some decorations that I'm going to put on the top here in just a moment. Okay, so I went and located some ephemera to put on here, and I noticed also I had the 59 cents that was on there, so I put a little, if you look, I put a little heart there to cover that. And then I put this little gingerbread man. I went ahead and I colored it in a little bit and tinted him on the sides. And then this actually goes on the ornament that we're going to make next. So that concludes the actual sleeve that the Matchbox goes in. And then we'll go ahead and we'll make the ornament. So the ornament itself, I'm going to use this round circle, and this I just created from the die cuts. These die cuts, I believe I got these purchased them from either Temu or AliExpress. I want to say something about that too. You take a chance sometimes on some of these third-party outlets like this that make them a little bit less cheaper, I should say. Sometimes they are cheaper, but expensive. And this one, I'm back and forth on it because it's very thin. It's not like really thick metal used for these die cuts. So you kind of take a chance on them, not criticizing them, just saying that it doesn't compare to some of the more popular brands that are more quality based. And anyway, so this is a 5-inch circle. Now you can actually do this on any cutting machine as well. So I didn't do it on my scanning kit. I just used these for the sake of it being a lot quicker. I didn't want to draw a circle on the scanning kit and take some time to do that. I was just trying to do this quicker so I could put this video out. Now that's just one aspect. And also, since this takes 6 Hershey nuggets, I just went and bought this from the Dollar Tree. This is the Dollar Tree one, just for the example of this video. I wouldn't recommend doing that in terms of creating a bunch of this project because it's going to take quite a number of them, and I would suggest you go to some type of an outlet store such as Costco or Sam's Club. One of those two will have some of these, and they're going to be more profitable for you to buy it from there because you can get more for your buck. Now the ornament itself, I cut a strip. This, let's see how big this strip is. We won't need it quite this long, but this particular strip is almost 4 inches, but you won't even need 4 inches. You'll see in just a moment. And then what I do with also this particular one right here, these edges that I made, this is from a border die that I purchased. I believe Stampin' Up sells them too. I don't know if they still do, but I don't think I got this on Stampin' Up. I believe I got this on Amazon. I don't know if they still have it or not, but there are just a lot of different border dies on here, and it was just easier to purchase them this way, just to give you an idea. Or you can cut them with scissors. It doesn't really matter, whichever way you do it. Now what I have to do is I want those lines to draw across. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually use my scoring tool, and I am going to score them, a few of them on here, just to give you an idea how I make these lines. Now they're not going to be exact, so I'm not concerned about that. Some people are, and if you are, well, by all means, go ahead and measure it. But I'm just doing pretty much eyeballing it and going that way and making sure that they're going to line up. Let's see, I'm trying to see. I've got a little bit of a shadow here, so I'm trying to work through that shadow. It may not show on the camera, but I have a shadow, so I'm just trying to see how I can get this to work for me. Okay, so now I've put the little ornament holder up here, and what I'm going to do next is I'm going to use this pen. I bought it, these gel pens, and this is the brand that I bought, and it comes with silver and gold and white, and they are really good, and you'll see that they are. So some people will use, you can use paint and sprinkle with a brush, but I don't have that flutter type of brush that's you know, kind of spans out. So I'm going to use my pens to do this. And what I'm going to do is just make dots here and there all over, just like this. Make them closer together. So as you can see, I went ahead and I colored it here and there, and my dots aren't all perfect. I purposely don't want them to be that way because I want to make it look more like a paintbrush type. And then if you'll notice, I'm going to bring it closer to the camera. I have these little silver stars that come from that SVG cutting file that I used in my last video, and they have little stars in there like that. So I used it on this too. Now the reason I didn't cover the whole thing was because I am going to put something right here like a Santa Claus type of belt, and then this box is going to go right here in the front, so when it stands up, it's going to stand up like that. That's going to have a cover on it. But I am going to do something to the sides and cover that in too once I put the box on. Right now I'm just trying to get a form of sizing for it, but that gives you an idea thus far where to put that in there, okay? And then we'll move on. I went and cut a long strip of black paper, and then I have these from a die that I was using for the last project as well. If you want to take a look at that, the cuttings are in there for you. And then I'm going to put it right here on top of here, and we're going to glue this on so it looks like that. Okay, so I went ahead and I glued it on here, and now what I'm going to do is just cut those edges off. So it's a little bit more of a polished finish here. Let me get that there's tiny bit showing right there. I'm going to take those off. Now keep in mind, as I stated before, this box is going to have a window on top, so they're going to be able to see. But you have to make sure that you don't cover it too much, because you're going to stand it up like this. So part of the box is going to be your stand, and if you look on the back, you'll have about that much, so that you have a flat surface and the box can stand up. And here's where I'm going to put some more of those little dots and decals, the silver decals. Also, I wanted to point out, I mentioned this a little belt clip. It actually comes from this. This is what I used in the last project for the milk chocolate boxes, and I used this die right here. It is by KF Crafts. I did get it on Amazon, and that's what I'm using on this right here. I'm just using this. I could have used this belt, but wasn't thick enough. And so I just went ahead and cut a different inch. And for those that want to know how much that is, since this is 5 inches, the circle, I'm looking for my rulers. I'm telling you that it's a clear one. I should get my one that's not clear. It's easier to find on this table. And so we're looking at, let's see, that was centimeters. We're looking at a half, well, actually it's a little bit more than a half, so it's 5/8, but I would just go with a half. That's good enough. Make it easier on yourself. And then the Matchbox is going to go right here. Now, I stated in the last video, in the first portion of this, when we were making the Matchbox, that you can do without glue. I would recommend glue because it reinforces it. And then some people might put a little extra paper in here to reinforce the bottom. But I don't see that as necessary because the bottom is actually against the ornament, so that thickens it enough. And plus, when they slide it, it's going to slide this way out. So you're going to be just fine with that. All right, so let's move on to the next step. Okay, now comes the time where we're going to put this little sleeve into the ornament itself here. This is the one we just finished. And remember, you want to make sure that it's at the bottom here, because you have to have this as your base. And then this is the box we made, and then together, and we just slide the box in. And I'll go over the nuggets in just a moment here, but we're going to go ahead and put this on here like this. And I think we've got it pasted on right. And let's go ahead and put that on there, okay? So we're going to glue them back here. Don't go all the way to the bottom because remember, some of this is going to show, so you don't want that glue showing. You want to just stay to the top. And let's see, I'm trying to stand up to put this on here right. Y'all are seeing better than I can because the camera's right in the way of where I need to see. So I hope this is straight. Let me see. So we don't have any glue on that side. And then it stands up right this way. So you're looking at it that way. Okay? Now we're going to go, and also we're going to make some more dots going down the sides. And then we're going to go ahead and move into the Hershey nuggets of decorating them, and that's pretty simple to do. So we have our box made, and like I said, we're going to go ahead and put in the Hershey nuggets. So I bought these from the Dollar Tree just as an example to use right here, but as I stated, I wouldn't necessarily move forward with buying these because it would be more expensive for you then, and you wouldn't make a profit with this. I mean, you could, but if you price it high, and it depends on what area of the country you live on because everybody prices differently. So you take one of these, it comes with 6 Hershey nuggets, so you have these, and then this is what they look like. Bring it up to the camera. And these are just pure chocolate, there's no nuts in them. And that's something that you want to make sure that you state in your craft because there are a lot of children that are allergic to nuts. And so this strip is 3.5 by 1 inch. And I just take it on the edge of my mat and I kind of roll it to the side so that it curves like this. And another thing you want to keep in mind is that these are things, normally I don't use glue when it comes to food products, that when it's going to touch the food product. So I'll use some of this tape, adhesive tapes like this, or I'll use a roll of adhesive tape versus using glue. And that way, even though it doesn't really touch it so much, I wouldn't want the glue to come out of here and pour onto, just drip to the sides. You know, because children put everything in their mouth. They're just growing up. They're just being kids. So that's one thing that we have to keep in mind. Okay, so I've already done all the rest of them too. And I used different ones. I wasn't sure what colors to use, so I kind of just rotated them out to do for different ones. And that's how they're going to go in the box. So we're going to go ahead and put them in right now. They should fit. I'm sorry, do they fit in? Nope, excuse me, they fit in this way. This is the way they go. So we're going to rotate it like this and like this. So there you go. You have them in the box. And then you want to put them this way. Well, let's put that in there, right? Okay, there we go. So there it is for you. So you have, and it stands up like this. I'm sure you can't see it that way, but that'll give you an idea. So I'm not sure what I'm going to price these at. Again, it's going to depend on the area that you live in. But I don't know what I'm calling them. I'm going to call them maybe, I really don't know. If any of you have a suggestion for this name, please let me know. I don't really know what to call them. All right, y'all. Well, you have a blessed day. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to send me an email and ask me. Again, these are by request only, and that's because of the way that YouTube has changed their URL shorts. They don't support the short ones, and they only support the long ones. And since these are my own templates, I don't have a website that I can refer you to just yet. I'm still working on that. It's under construction. Email me again. The email is below. All right, y'all. Thank you so much for being with me today. I know there's other channels that you can also visit, and there's many, many wonderful crafters out there. But I'm so thankful that you stopped into Mima's place today. Again, Jesus loves you. I love you. And you have a blessed day. I hope you subscribe and like. Bye-bye.